Hey guys, Adam here with AmericanMuscle.com, and today we're taking a closer look at installing and dyno testing the JLT Performance cold air intake and the Bama Rev-X tuner with 2 custom tunes available for the 2015-17 Mustang GT. Now before we break down all of the components of the kit, we obviously have it strapped down to our dyno on our 15 GT. So what do you say, before we do anything, let's take a look at the dyno results. All right, so we have our 2015 strapped down to the dyno, 93 octane in the tank. We established a baseline run with our factory intake in place, bone stock otherwise. Walked away with 382 horsepower, 359 pound-feet of torque at the rear wheels. We then, of course, installed our JLT Performance, paired it with our Bama 93 race tune that you saw us upload there, ran it under the same conditions here, walked away with 411 horsepower, 388 pound-feet of torque at the rear wheels. That's good for peak gains of 29 horsepower and 29 torque at the rear wheels. Now, those numbers alone are really impressive. We then look at our curve gains and things get even better as expected. Now, we're seeing gains of as much as 45 horsepower and 44 pound-feet of torque under the curve. Now, those are numbers at the rear wheels that we're gonna feel out on the road. It's gonna make life a lot more enjoyable out on the road. And as you can see, a simple cold air intake and tune from JLT and Bama make a huge difference. All right, now that we talked about the dyno, let's break down the components of this kit. You should be checking this out if you're looking for a cold air intake and tuner combo to make life a whole lot easier and maximize your performance of your new power bolt-on mod. Now, this particular cold air intake from JLT includes a washable and reusable oiled filter, an absolutely massive oiled conical filter here with a cotton gauze finish. Gonna filter out all of the unwanted particles that you don't want getting in while pulling in a lot more cold air than your factory intake ever could. Now, this filter here is made from S&B for the JLT kit, and I'll explain all the details of this kit comparing it to stock once we get to that a little bit later in the video. Know that this kit does come with a 110 millimeter MAF housing built into your JLT tubing, which is a roto-molded plastic. All very durable quality materials. JLT is known to make some of the more premium options in the category. And when you pair that here with your Bama Rev-X, you're really just maximizing its performance. Now, on its own, it does require a tune, so you're gonna need to pick one up anyway if you want this particular intake, so the convenient combo kit makes life a whole lot easier. As a matter of fact, what you're getting here is the Rev-X device from SCT loaded with 2 custom tunes particular to your exact vehicle. Now, the Rev-X here has a ton of other features, but know that the Bama tunes loaded on them are gonna provide the lower 87 octane fuel tune, as well as the higher octane 93 race tune from Bama. Now, the 87 tune's great for daily drivers out there who are just looking for a little bit extra on the road, maybe daily commuting to work, maybe just a little weekend warrior fun, carving up some corners. You just might want a little extra without going to the more expensive 91 or 93 octane fuel. Now, if you're looking to maximize gains on the higher octane pump gas, the 93 race tune from Bama is gonna be the way to go, and that's included in there for you, again, specific to your vehicle. 93 octane from Bama is gonna take in a lot more consideration with air-fuel ratio, timing, spark, a lot more parameters here to maximize your vehicle's gains the best way it can using that pump gas fuel. Now, as you can see, the dyno graph results speak for itself when it comes to using that 93 tune. Now, the 93 octane and a simple cold air intake can reap some really good benefits. Now, aside from that, the Rev-X device has a number of other features, again, that we'll break down in this video. You'll have a DTC code reader to read the check engine light and clear it right from the device. You can take advantage of the gauges and data log screen to monitor live engine vitals on the fly. Things like air-fuel ratio, coolant temp, intake temp, and a number of other parameters. As a matter of fact, you can track up to 8 gauges at once on this device, and it's something you might want to pick up a windshield mount for to monitor on the fly at all times within arm's reach of the driver's seat. So that might be something you want to keep in mind if you want to use that feature every day. In addition to the gauges screen, you also get the data log your engine's performance, and you can communicate that back to Bama for possible revisions if you're looking to tweak the performance of your vehicle. Also worth noting, anytime you pick up a Bama tuned device like this, you're automatically enrolled in the Bama Free Tunes for Life program. What that basically means is for the lifetime that you have this device and your vehicle paired, anytime you add bolt-on mods like a catback, long tube headers, so on and so forth, you basically get a free tune from Bama revised to your new mods. That way you can maximize your performance, including everything that you just bolted up. And guys, we all know we're never done modding our vehicle, so that's a really good value to have if you think you're gonna build onto your future car. In addition to that, you also get Wi-Fi access, cloud capabilities to download and upload tunes wirelessly from Bama, and a number of other features I'll walk through in this video. Now, as far as pricing goes for this kit, you're getting a more premium filter and a more premium intake with the 110 MAF housing, along with the Bama tuned Rev-X device here. The price is gonna come in right around 750 bucks. Now you are saving a few bucks. Instead of getting it separately, you can get it in the combo kit, but know that the more premium intake is gonna carry a little bit of a higher price tag than some of the other combo kits, but it's worthwhile if you want premium quality stuff. In the install, I'm gonna give 1 out of 3 wrenches on our difficulty meter. Anybody can tackle this in the driveway at home with about an hour's time from start to finish. Cold air intakes are one of the absolute easiest mods that you can do under the hood, so simple hand tools will do the trick. What I do like about this intake is it does give you the option to use or delete your factory sound tube. We are going to reuse that sound tube. We're not going to be deleting it because we do want to hear it inside of our cabin, but if you're looking to delete the sound tube, there are plugs included in the kit to make that happen in the proper way. Now I'm going to walk you through every single step of the process. What do you say I shut up and we get started? Tools used in this install include an impact gun or a ratchet, variety of extensions, Phillips head screwdriver, 7, 8, and 10 millimeter deep sockets. First step of the uninstall, we're gonna get our engine cover out of the way. Now, if you guys have a strut tower brace installed, you're gonna remove that. That'll be 2 15 millimeter bolts on each of the strut towers. From there, you'll be able to gain access to the engine cover, which you'll just pull straight up and set aside. Next step, let's disconnect our MAF sensor. That's located right here by our filter. Underneath, there's a little locking tab. I'm gonna pull straight back on that, pinch and disconnect. If you take a look at this red thing here, that's that locking tab. So just pull back on that, pinch the center, and it'll disconnect. All right, next step, let's do our hoses. Now we have our vacuum lines, our breather lines, and we have our sound tube. Now your sound tube may have a clamp here. As you can see, ours has seen better days, so we don't have the clamp anymore, so we're just gonna pull that guy off. Next to that, you'll see a couple of hoses. Those you'll pinch and pull back, and they'll disconnect. The one underneath has a little gray release tab, which disconnects it. That's this thing here. You'll just push and pull back. And then finally on the side, do the same thing, pinch and disconnect. Now on your inner fender here, you'll see a 10 millimeter bolt holding that on. So what we're gonna do is take a little extension along with a 10 socket and get that guy off. Next up, let's loosen up the clamp holding the tubing to our throttle body. Now that's gonna be a 7 millimeter socket. Just loosen this guy up and disconnect. All right, so we're gonna pull straight back on this guy to disconnect. And then you can lift up on the entire intake assembly and set it aside. All right, so we got our factory intake off of our 15 GT behind me. It's on the table next to our JLT Performance cold air intake. I want to take you through some of the similarities and differences between the two kits. And as you can see, I did take apart that factory intake to expose the flat drop-in paper element filter. This is a dry filter, and it does a pretty decent job off the factory line of filtering out particles and pulling in cold air, but it's not really meant to maximize your vehicle's performance. Now, the big ticket item from the JLT kit is going to be this massive oiled S&B filter. Now this guy here is a lot larger than not only the factory drop-in, but it's got this conical shape that's a lot larger than some of the other options in its category. What makes this thing special is not only the cotton gauze material, but the multi-layer build around it, as well as the diamond wire mesh. It's gonna help you filter out all of the unwanted particles that you don't want getting into the engine bay. Now S&B makes this filter for JLT's kit here, and S&B has been known to make some really premium, high quality filters in the category. Now their Powerstack filter has this open bell mouth top that exposes some more of that filter here. It's really gonna help optimize the cold air being pulled in, giving you a lot more of an opportunity than some of the other options out there. Now the rest of the kit here is built from a roto-molded plastic, which is also impact resistant. It's textured black, so it looks really good under the hood. But aside from that, the new tubing here from JLT has a 110 millimeter MAF housing built into that tubing, much larger than some of the other guys out there in the category. It's, as a matter of fact, one of the largest options available. Because of that, it does require a tune, which is why we're talking about this in conjunction with the Bama tune. Now the heat shield here goes a little bit farther beyond some of the other options out there as well. It's a little more advanced. It's a lot bigger to house a lot more of that filter. It has weather stripping going around the edges here to help trap in the cold air and keep out engine bay heat. And it also comes with the optional foam padding, which will go right on over top of the filter to help trap in that cold air as well. Engine bay heat can be an issue for some of the options out there if it doesn't have a closed heat shield, or at least one that's big enough like this guy. So trapping engine bay heat out is going to be a big thing when it comes to picking up a cold air intake, and I think the JLT option here does a really good job. Comparing that to the factory component here, the factory one does have a completely closed heat shield, which is a benefit there, but the tubing is pretty restrictive and a lot smaller, so the volume of airflow coming in isn't going to be as good or as efficient as your new JLT. Now, the last thing I want to mention is the heat shield does include a new air duct that'll help pull in air from the front grille. Your factory one has that built in as well, so the fact that we have a new unit to reuse some of that functionality goes a long way too. Not a lot of options do that. Finally, let's transfer over our factory MAF sensor to our new housing and we'll begin assembling our new intake. All right, to remove that factory MAF sensor, take a T15 Torx bit and we're gonna remove the 2 screws holding it on. Now we're not gonna reuse the factory hardware. We have new stuff from the JLT kit that we're gonna use, so you can set aside the factory screws. In my opinion, it's a good idea to hold on to the factory components in case you ever wanna revert back to stock. You'll definitely wanna have these screws on hand because they are specific to this kit. So slide the MAF sensor out, set it down. We can set this guy aside. Now there is one other component of the factory intake that I want to remove before we start assembling stuff. If you look at the bottom portion of the factory heat shield, where it attaches to that inner fender where that 10mm bolt was, there's a little rubber grommet and a steel little sleeve insert. We want to reuse that. We're going to have to put that on our new intake. So from the bottom here, you're going to push up and remove that metal sleeve, just like that. And then again from the bottom, push up and remove that grommet. And that guy just pops right out. You can set that down. And now we're good to put our stock stuff aside. Now, new hardware in the kit is going to include 2 small Phillips head screws for the MAF sensor, as well as a foam gasket. Now this guy is going to help make sure there's no air leaks and no check engine lights thrown as a result of air leaks. So take that gasket and you're going to insert that through the MAF sensor. Now it's only going to line up to those holes in one way. So if you need to make adjustments to get them to line up, you can do so now. So that looks good. So now what we're going to do is slide this into the housing, grab those new Phillips head screws and put them through. All right, so once you have them in place, grab your Phillips head screwdriver and tighten them down. Now while we have this tubing on the table here, let's focus on installing our coupler that'll connect the tubing to the throttle body. Now on the side that has your hose fittings pre-installed, grab the coupler included in the kit that has the JLT logo on it. The smaller end is going to connect to the throttle body, but the larger end will go to this tubing. So grab a larger clamp, put it over the end here, and install it onto the throttle body side. From there you can grab an 8mm socket or a flathead screwdriver, whichever is easier for you, and tighten down that clamp. Now we can set this aside and work on our heat shield. All right, so now what you're gonna do is take that factory grommet that we removed from the stock bottom portion of the airbox and install it into that pre-drilled hole here. You're basically just gonna push it in from the inside and then grab that metal sleeve and put it through. It's really that simple. So that's where that factory 10mm bolt will go through to hold this in place. All right, so now what we can do is take the air duct and install it into the side here. Now it's only gonna go in one way and it also has these retainer notches to help click it into place. All right, so that'll help lock it in. And now we're good to install in the vehicle. All right, so now that we're in the vehicle, let's take our heat shield, the bottom portion at least. We're gonna feed our air duct into this open hole where the factory one was. I'm gonna pull that MAF sensor harness out of the way so it doesn't get crushed underneath. For this, you may have to move a couple of hoses out of the way and feed this guy in. All right, so you're basically lining this up to where the factory 10mm was, and we'll put that through now. All right, so now I'm gonna take that factory bolt, put it through here, tighten it down by hand, grab a 10mm socket, and then tighten it down. All right, at this point, we're going to install our tubing. Now, a quick note before we get started. If you do not want to reuse your sound tube, which would connect here, there is a plug included in the kit to plug this up, remove this, and then plug it back at the firewall. We are going to reuse ours, but if you do want to take it off, the option is there and the plugs are in the kit. So what we're going to do now is connect this to our throttle body. And as you can see, this seats right into this divot on our new heat shield. So let's clamp it down to the throttle body and then we'll move on to our filter. All right, so I'm gonna grab our 8mm socket and tighten down our clamp at the throttle body. All right, so when you're installing your filter, a good rule of thumb is to find that little chrome line in the filter material and have that at the very bottom. From there, you can slide this over your new tubing, grab your socket, and tighten down that clamp. All right, so now what we can do is connect all of our tubings, go right into those factory locations, and pop right onto our fittings. All right, and then finally, we may have to push this sound tube down a bit to connect it to this fitting here. All right, and then last but not least is our MAF sensor. Now this guy, you're just gonna feed right back around, click into place, and then push in your locking tab. All right, now before we move on to our engine cover and finish up here, as you can see, this weather stripping is what's gonna put pressure underneath the hood to seal in the cold air and block out the engine bay heat. But you can see this little section here is left open. Now they do give you this foam block in the kit, which you can stuff kind of right in here, and it hugs the tubing so that when the hood closes, it seals in here as well. So this is more optimizing the space here to trap out as much engine bay heat as possible. It's optional, but we're gonna put it in there because it does have some function. All right, and finally, throw your engine cover back on, which is just gonna go right on top. You can just push on it in those 4 pin locations, and now you're good to go. All right guys, now the first thing I wanna do is teach you guys how to install your tune. So from the main menu, once you plug your device in, you're gonna press Program Vehicle, confirm your VIN. It may ask you to connect to Wi-Fi. If you're near a local network, you wanna connect to that. It'll also ask if you need a device update. We've already taken care of that, so we're gonna hit skip, but if you haven't, it's a good idea to go ahead and update your device now. All right, so at this point, it's updating the firmware. Again, once it's complete, it'll kick you back to the main menu, and we'll be able to tune the vehicle. All right, once the update is complete, you can click OK. It'll, again, prompt you the internet is required, connect to your Wi-Fi network. Ours is already connected. At this point, it'll ask for cloud sync. If your tuner put your tune on the cloud, you can sync it from the cloud to your device now. Ours is already downloaded. Now you can do it the old-fashioned way and plug your tuner into the computer and drag and drop it with your device updater software. That's what we've done. So we're gonna skip cloud sync. It'll give you a street notice use. Make sure your ignition is on, but do not start the engine. Press continue. At this point, you wanna select the tune you want to upload. So you guys may have an 87, 91, and 93 tune. For the sake of our video, we only have the 93 octane tune. That's what we're going to show you guys on the dyno to give some good numbers. So we're going to select our 93 octane. At this point, it'll ask if you want to make any changes to the tune, including rev limiter, speed limiter, gear ratio, tire size, so on and so forth. You can do so now and click change. We don't want to change any of those additional tune options, so we're going to hit skip. Confirm. It'll move forward with saving your stock file from the vehicle to the device. If you ever want to revert back to stock, you'll have that available on your Rev-X. From there, it'll load our tune, write it, and we'll be good to go. Now, it may load 0 to 100 a couple of times. Leave it be, don't unplug the device, and don't turn off your vehicle. All right, at this point, turn the ignition off, press continue. Turn it on, press continue. At this point, turn the ignition off. It'll prompt you to turn it back on. Ignition off one more time. Back on. It'll finish up clearing all of the DTC codes, and your programming is complete. All right, now that we walked through programming your vehicle, I want to take you through some of the other Rev-X by SCT features. Right under Program Vehicle, you'll find gauges and data log. It's exactly what it sounds like. If we click on that, turn your key on, press continue. Basically what this will do is allow you to track live engine vitals like boost if you're forced induction, coolant temp, trans temp, so on and so forth. You just want to make sure you're selecting the right options. So we're Ford gas and newer, 08 and newer. You want to make sure you're selecting the right gen. It'll scan data log, reconnect to the ECU, read the data. Right now there are 2 gauges up on the screen, control module voltage and coolant temp. Now those are 2 things you can track. You can also click to the right, go down to select gauge layout, and select a number of different layouts, including portrait and landscape mode if you wanted to turn your device. You can monitor up to 8 vitals at once. So if we wanted to go in and change one of these, I'm going to go back to something a little more simplistic. Let's say this layout here. We have 1 larger gauge and 2 smaller ones below it. If we want to change control module voltage, we click on it, select item, say we want to track intake air temp. Select that, approve, and it updates that block. It's extremely easy to use. And if you go to the right, you can start recording this data, send it over to your tuner. You can have revisions made if need be. You can stop data logging here, and it'll take you back to the main menu. So really useful stuff, gauges and data logging working together. Vehicle functions, you can read and clear diagnostic trouble codes, and that's gonna be useful for the guys who have check engine light. You wanna check it out, get your code, a description, clear it when you're finished. Special functions, something not many people, if any, are really gonna use that function for like cam reset, so on and so forth. So we're gonna skip all that. Vehicle info is pretty useful for the guys looking to request a new tune, who want to know their VIN number, maybe the sticker fell off. You can access that vehicle info in the device settings. Same with ECM strategy code, which is needed for new tunes as well. Device info, sort of similar, but for your device, serial number, part number, device name, app name, and your update, firmware version. It's good to know if you're at the latest software. Device settings, the top 4 are the most useful. Check for updates, cloud file sync, upload data log to cloud, and Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi connectivity is going to allow you to do the other 3. Basically, you have wireless capabilities with the Rev-X. You don't have to plug it into a computer or laptop. You can go right on the Wi-Fi network. You can check for updates, download the update, install the updates on your Rev-X. Cloud file sync, if your tuner uploaded your file to the cloud, you can access it and put it on your tuner wirelessly, again, without your computer or laptop. Same thing with uploading your data log files. If you go into gauges and data log, say you run your data log, record it, you can upload it to the cloud there, so your tuner can access that wirelessly on the other end. The rest of the settings are brightness, orientation. You can flip it to portrait mode, or a landscape mode rather, and back to portrait. Theme, power management, audio, startup function, demo mode, and you can do a factory reset to erase everything. Now, if you picked up a windshield mount or somewhere to mount this in arm's reach, the orientation could be important if you wanted to mount it like this. It's all personal preference. Go right to exit, back to the main menu, and those are going to be your Rev-X features. Well guys, that's going to wrap up my review, install, and dyno test for the JLT Performance cold air intake and the Bama Rev-X by SCT tuner with 2 custom tunes available for the 15 to 17 GT. If you want to pick this kit up, you can do so right here at AmericanMuscle.com.